Well, Brian, I guess what we ought to do before we get ready to rumble is just briefly go over because no earth was moved, no new ground was broken on SmackDown on Friday night. What was Friday night? The 26th?
26th.
The 26th of the month of January. No new ground was broken.
None at all.
No new ground was broken. Don't snicker at me. I'll slap you for snickering.
Whatever happened to Braun Strowman?
That's a good question. What did happen to the world's strongest giant man with a beard?
I think he got hurt, but
well, that's it. What they do? You know what Arn Anderson said to fucking Mick Foley in 1989 in WCW after the Christmas break? Cactus had gotten in a fucking car wreck in Long Island, just, not on a road trip, I don't think, just as he was home, visiting his family. And he missed a couple of shows. And Arn had seen the fucking bumps that he had taken and been able to get up and walk back from it, everything. So the first night that Cactus got back, he's sitting in a locker room. Arn said, "You had to take time off for a car wreck. What'd you do? Run off the edge of the Grand Canyon?" Anyway, so no new ground was broken on SmackDown, but it did set up more of the various issues at the Rumble. But did you know, let's talk about more aesthetic things on this television show and just observations rather than blow by blow. Maybe that's not a good term to use anymore. Play by play. The opening, they got the main eventers walking in the building while the announcers are billboarding things. They go to the package of last week's main event and the angle, the editing is top quality, but it seems like they're open to the show. They're flowing better. It moves along. They're upgrading things in terms of a tempo standpoint than just giving us the arena shot and hearing the announcers and blat, somebody's music plays and out they come from the entranceway. They're jazzing it up with the network look, right? And
new head of production.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe that is, again, we've heard that maybe some more changes will come to get it more in line. What are they saying? How are they phrasing it? With an athletic presentation, not actually coming out and saying, yeah, like the UFC, but kind of what we've been maybe hoping for.
Or like wrestling, like what wrestling's supposed to be.
Yeah, well, imagine that. If they could have that groundbreaking idea, then we'd be all set. And it's Michael Cole and Corey Graves again, because poor old Kevin Patrick, maybe he knew this time was coming. That's why he couldn't catch his breath. He was like hyperventilating, like, when are they going to fire me? When are they going to fire me?
Where are you taking me?
What?
No, Wade! Oh!
Wait, what do you mean? I thought I could stay in this country.
Corey, help me. They're taking me away.
Ha ha, hee hee, ho ho.
To the funny farm.
But thank you, very good. So they introduced a rapper. And the rapper whose name I can't pronounce or spell, I've never heard of. Obviously, I don't know if it's my demographic. But he welcomed us to SmackDown and didn't do a bad job. And apparently, is he somebody, music guru?
I had the open on mute, so I saw him, but I'm not exactly sure who it was. But they were in Miami, so I'm guessing it's someone who really has the beat.
Well, see, but now you're starting to show your age a little bit, just that you don't know all of these people from sight.
Because I go based on ear. You're talking music. I'm not like you, a superficial music fan who I care about what the people look like. I care about the sound and the song.
No, but yeah, what I'm saying, you would recognize who this was if this was a person who you knew it was. Who?
This was a person so talented in their craft that their image doesn't matter. It's about what's happening on the record. That's what I'm saying.
Well, on the record, for the record, what was happening here was he welcomed us to SmackDown and introduced Randy Orton. And here came Randy, and apparently Randy is in this guy's music video. And he has done some tribute to the RKO or something. But anyway, Orton cut a promo on the Bloodline, and he knows what he sounds like. He means what he says because he understands the importance of either doing in the ring or saying something in a promo that sounds half-ass real and convincing, or just don't do that. So he talks in a way that he can talk and sound half-ass real and convincing. Wonder where he learned those type of things from. But anyway, so he, of course, is vowing to beat Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble, and he'll be a 15-time world champion. And suddenly AJ's music plays, and he cuts and here we go. I think this is AJ's downfall from being, when it's Roman and it's Orton, and right now it's LA Knight and it's AJ. AJ's kind of fucking Zeppo, isn't he?
Zeppo became a very successful talent manager. I don't think that's AJ at all.
Well, yeah, now come on now. We don't know what he's going to do later on.
His wife left him for Frank Sinatra.
He's still AJ's?
No, Zeppo.
Oh, all right. Well, we don't know what AJ's got a chance to do later on. He could become a great agent or potentially, fuck Frank Sinatra's wife. I don't know.
There's still time, I guess. I mean, there has to be someone out there. Mia Farrow's out there.
Well, there you go. I knew that he had at least one living ex-spousal person.
Yeah, because he married her when she was 19. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, but that's legal.
He was like 55 years old, but go ahead.
Oh, let's not even get into this goddamn discussion. In light of recent events, what I'm saying to you is that AJ's phenomenal in the ring, and he's better verbally than he was in the TNA days, but I think his level of conviction and delivery and just whatever is that, I think, is what is his shortcoming. But thankfully, LA Knight's music played, and he got a big pop, and he livened the thing up, and the crowd was chanting his shit, and he cut a good promo on AJ, and this is all about, who's going to be the one to dethrone Roman, but LA Knight cut the fucking promo and said, and that's a fact of life, and he tossed the microphone down and walked off on him. And there's AJ and Orton with their mouths open, and suddenly AJ just flips upside down and just sucker kicks Orton in again and leaves him laying there and walks off. So, and that's basically, they wanted to cover that match. They wanted to cover a couple of other things on SmackDown here. The matches were secondary, even more so than usual, I think, and maybe was this a good fucking week for it anyway? Just keep them talking so the crowd doesn't start chanting amongst themselves.
I guess. I mean, with this thing specifically, I feel like the segments with the intrigue about who's doing what to who here and Randy Orton getting the moments where they just show him looking on, not knowing what to do, but he doesn't really say anything. It's a lot more interesting in the actual match.
Yeah. Because we got Escobar and Carlito. And remember a couple months ago, didn't we want to see this match on pay-per-view when it was fresh in our mind?
We almost did. We almost did see this on pay-per-view. Yeah.
And then suddenly we didn't. And now we did. But I wanted to see it and had time to watch it then, but neither one applied this week. So maybe, did I miss anything, or did you see this?
I watched some of it. I think Escobar's really good as a heel. He's really, he was great as a babyface. You totally believe him as like the best friend, and now he's really good as a heel. They just got to do something interesting with him, other than just feuding with everyone he's been with for the last couple of years.
Yes, or ever known, potentially, in his previous life. But a big package on the jump to Netflix. The Rock at WWE HQ, the new one apparently. They didn't have that high ceilings in the building I worked in. The big board announcement, the whole thing. It's Entertainment Tonight wrestling, where you get the talking and you get the packages on the big events, and then in the middle, the matches or the commercials.
The only thing you don't have is the hosting. Entertainment Tonight at least has like hosts to pitch to different things and host different segments. Here it's just like anyone who has a microphone, go.
Am I being led to believe that The Rock's daughter is now the general manager of NXT?
I told you this would happen in terms of her being all over TV all of a sudden. She's now the
Well,
general manager of NXT. She doesn't seem to be that good a talker or particularly intriguing as a character, but all of a sudden she's in a role that will have her on that TV show more than anyone else on that show, I would guess.
Well, but I mean, I'm not even saying this in a derogatory fashion. How old is she? How long has she been there? Has she ever done television before? When did this happen? I mean, I know I ain't been watching NXT lately, but I thought I would have heard about this if it was more than a week ago.
She's been there for a while because we did a story a while back about how they brought her in and immediately changed her name to something else.
Well, but I know, but I'm talking, that's not the general. I'm talking about how long she been general manager. When did this?
Oh, this past week. I think from what I read.
How did she go from reporting for training duty to she's the general manager of the motherfucker? We ain't heard shit in between.
From what I read, because I did not watch NXT, because despite how good people say it is, every time I give it a chance, it runs me off again. William Regal showed up at NXT, the former general manager, and he went backstage and he talked to her and said that she's the new general manager. I don't know much more than that. Obviously well qualified. She's a seventh generation wrestler in some way, I'm sure.
Yeah.
She's the great-great-great-great-granddaughter that wasn't of Nef Maava. I don't know what's going on.
She's the great-great-great-daughter of the great one. But how did they present that? Has she even been on their television?
I think she has. I want to say that she's been doing something on their show, and it didn't light the world on fire, so now they made her general manager. She had a stroke, so they made her head of talent relations.
Well, that's a good place to go so you can recuperate at a leisurely pace. All right. Oscar and Kerry wrestled for the tag team championship or defended it against Chance and Carter. And then we had a little vignette backstage with Heyman and Solo and Uso, where Paul said, "Hey, Solo, you solved the problem, but you didn't fix the problem. Don't be merciful." And Solo takes off, and then Paul gets up in Jimmy's ear and gives him the big pitch to enter the Royal Rumble and do this and that and the other thing and beat Seth Rollins. And Heyman is captivating and brilliant to listen to. So again, I enjoyed hearing this little soliloquy after that unfortunate choice of a match they presented. But then the string of soliloquies stopped, Brian, because the in-ring with Lashley and the Street Profits calling out Karrion Kross and I haven't even remembered the name of the unintimidated ministers. What are they? The bare naked ladies?
The Final Testament.
The Final Testament. Apparently it's a multi-parter. But the Street Profits go after the heels, and Scarlett jumps on Lashley, and then Cross stops him, and the heels are getting heat, and they had to do I don't even think it was bringing up the microphones. I think it was actual piping in of the booing. Because you're looking at the people and they're like, sort of like trying to tolerate that examination that the doctor just has to give you, but you didn't really want to go through. How is it that everything that this Karrion Kross, this guy, and this beautiful girl get involved in gets negative response? They bring back the fucking cheers they emitted in the previous segment.
I don't know. I can't explain any of this. I mean, even the faction, like with Paul Ellering, what is he doing? Like, what does Paul Ellering do? He just every now and then gets on the mic, but then he doesn't even go to the ring. He just stands in the back, and the other guys are out there.
And the other guys.
And the new T-shirt with the cross, but you add another line to make it an F for the Final Testament. So just the whole trying to make it some kind of religious thing too. I don't know what the hell they're doing with any of this.
Actually, I thought that was one of those dravas that they put at the end of the sentence for a fucking footnote. But nevertheless, we got the rematch between Austin Theory and Carmelo Hayes, and neither one of them got hurt. They actually got to finish in. I wondered why they started at 100 miles an hour, because they were going so fast that Theory slipped and fell on a knee lift, his own knee lift, and then Carmelo Hayes fell on his ass on a drop behind. But then I realized they did all this shit in less than 2 minutes before the break, and then when they came back, they had like 90 seconds before the fucking bell. And a couple of big 2 counts, and Hayes nailed Waller and rolled up Theory, and Theory reversed it and held the fucking tights. Boom, 1, 2, 3. And then the heels jump right back on him, and suddenly music plays. And did you see who it was, Brian? Do you remember who it was?
It was Trick.
It was his friend Trick. They've been friends from way back when we used to watch NXT. And he hit the ring and made a big comeback and shit canned all the heels. So they're fucking, now they had a 3.5 minute match, and they're in an angle with Carmelo and a new guy who made his debut. Any closing comments on that?
No, this SmackDown is just not that whelming, not even over or under, just
not over or under.
I'm not whelmed.
So, well, let's whelm you with the main event, because that's what we were all waiting for. LA Knight and Solo. And that's going to be a big fucking, main event match that they're going to devote plenty of time to. So immediately they get into a big fucking schmoz, and LA starts working on the guy's, his thumb, try to nullify the spike, and he smashes it on everything, and they go out to the floor, and Solo stops LA Knight with one blow, and they go to break in 2 minutes. What the fuck? And again, when they come back, they're minutes from going off the air, but basically this isn't just an angle because they didn't even use the minutes that they had for match. A little more heat, and LA Knight makes a comeback, and the fans are with him. They chant big. The fucking heads on the desk, and then suddenly you're watching LA Knight beat fucking Solo up, and from nowhere AJ Styles just fucking levels him, and immediately the bell rings. Nobody saw him coming. They must have dropped him in out of a helicopter, as Hurd would say. And now he's beating up LA Knight and fucking runs him into the stairs, and Uso has a chair because he was in Solo's corner, but he sets it down and offers it to AJ. And AJ slowly, now they've just completely slowed it to a crawl, slowly gets the chair, and Solo's like, yeah, hit him. Hit that no good LA Knight. And so AJ beats up Solo and Uso with the chair. And then here comes Randy's music. And he hits the ring, and he nails Uso and AJ and drops Solo on the desk. And DDT's Uso and DDT's AJ and RKO's AJ. And the crowd's ballistic for Randy. Wonder why. Haven't seen a fucking dominant campaign like this since Sherman's March to the Sea. And then, right as Randy's got the beauty shot and his music is playing and the announcers are pitching out to next week, and you think, well, wow, that was great. Boom, LA Knight comes up and gives Orton the BFT. And then they go off the air. So that was a nice little twist. But I'm wondering, are they making, as much as I love Randy Orton, he's a star, he's kicking the shit out of everybody. Are they making him too invincible when he's just recovered from back surgery and is maybe closer to the end of his in-ring career than he is obviously to the beginning? And who are they going to come up with can beat this fucking guy? Of course, he looks great. What do you think?
I mean, what do I think? Who's going to beat Randy Orton?
Well, I mean, if he kind of came in. LA Knight was, I'm not even talking about AJ, but we've seen that LA Knight and Cody Rhodes, and now they've got CM Punk, and they've had a number of newer faces that they've elevated, but Orton has come in, and so far, he's the one kicking the shit out of everybody. Except in this instance, yes, LA Knight got him from behind with goddamn is he just running away with it because he looks like a goddamn brick wall and all his shit looks good when he drops people on their fucking face.
Yeah, but LA Knight's still the most over of the three.
I don't know. From Randy's got he's got the icon pop and the main event pop and also the sympathy pop from coming back from a serious surgery. So right now, I think they're louder for him.
I don't think he gets that. You know, that's the one thing I disagree with. I don't think Randy Orton gets a sympathy pop. I don't think people look at him that way.
Well, I don't mean the sympathy pop, but I mean the, oh, wow, we're glad we got him back because we might not have.
Yeah, we're happy he's back. I don't think anyone's like, oh, poor Randy. I can't believe he's back. Never.
No, I didn't. All right, poor verbiage on my part or whatever then. Yes, that's basically the deal. They're glad to see him. He's been there so long. He's been at that level. So, well, you asked me the other day, are they cooling LA Knight off? I don't think so. I think just Randy's kind of running away with some of this.
I don't know. It does feel like there are guys that, not to compare it to AEW, but LA Knight got really hot and then, things kind of come down a little bit. Punk came in, it was the biggest thing ever. They're still kind of fitting him into things. There's still a lot of stuff we haven't seen, but also The Rock came in right behind that. Again, not to compare it to AEW when they had like Punk and Danielson and Adam Cole and just one after another, boom, boom, boom. But it does feel like some guys are not, I don't know. You would think that if in a world where Punk did not come in, let's say, and when The Rock did not come in, they may have used LA Knight a little differently between Survivor Series and now.
And but I agree with that. But at the same time, I don't think it's too late or anything.
No, I agree.
To spell doom and gloom, I think it unlike AEW where they don't really follow up and people just lose track or interest. They've still featured LA Knight. He's just in a much more crowded forest, so his blossoms can't shine quite as brightly in the middle of all the other foliage.
All right.
Is that a good transition to how we can relax and help calm our desperate minds after all the things that are going on these days?
Do you hear this wind behind me?
No, nobody hears it.
No, you do. No. This mic is really good. Do you hear the? Listen to the wind. Give it a chance. Listen.
I could hear a mouse pissing on cotton. It would sound like thunder.
You hear it though.
In what I'm.
You do. Yes, you do. Yes. You hear that.
Look at here. I'm instead of going to the ear, nose, and throat guy, I'm going to start sending you to a fucking therapist here.
Oh, come on.
I'm telling you, as a matter of fact, here, what I was about to say might possibly help you in your current malady and situation with your apparent delusions and or
what
voices you're hearing or sounds you're hearing or telepathic thoughts
wind,
that you're picking up.
Literal wind. I'm seeing trees sway in the breeze of the wind that I'm hearing, that you hear, that you're denying because Jace will edit it out and it makes me look like a fool.
Well, here's what can spark you right up, boy, can perk you right up into a better frame of mind. Our friends at CB Distillery.
That's right.
That's who can do that because what it is it's the stress, Brad. It's the pressure. It's like a heaviness hanging over you. Every morning you wake up, the first thing when you open your eyes, hi, heaviness. Oh, it's going to suck today. But see, you don't want to do that. Yeah, you want to be bright and cheery like old Bucktooth Cheerio there. And that's why you need to clear out your brain and you need to reset your health instead of all the other potentially over-the-counter synthetic, artificial, man-made, homogenized ingredients that you might be putting into your body that might be, who knows, giving you incredible diseases of lack of which that we don't know, and appendages of yours could begin rotting and falling off, turning black. Don't do that.
Don't do that. No, don't even mention that for any reason.
Well, because it's a horrible thing to have happen. But If right now, if you start taking the clean ingredients, the highest quality, no fluff, no fillers, just pure effective CBD solutions designed to help support your health from CB Distillery, well, you'd be just right as rain because it's all natural stuff. It grows in the ground. Well, so do many toxic poisons, but nevertheless, they clean it first. That's why they say it's clean ingredients. They've scrubbed this shit with bleach and, but they use Bonami in some instances. But in 2 non-clinical surveys, 81% of customers experienced more calm. 80% said CBD helped with pain after physical activity. An impressive 90% said they slept better with CBD. And I'll have you know that 3% spontaneously recited the lyrics to Inagata Davida. So if you struggle with a health concern of any kind,
not proven, not true.
Well, it could have been some of that mental telepathy. And if you haven't found relief for your various ailments and complaints and illnesses and things and such of that nature, then make the change to CB Distillery with over 2 million customers and a solid 100% money-back guarantee. If you take this stuff for the rest of your life and you don't live longer, well, they'll give you your money back. What?
You said something in a way that took me aback, so I'm not exactly sure what you said other than...
Take it back. Woo, woo, woo,
well, let's
take it back.
Let's get away from the Frank Stallone catalog and get back into things you could do to calm yourself. And of course, CBD and CB Distillery are wonderful.
Here's what'll work. Here's what'll work good for your blood pressure. You get 20% off if you listen to me. Right now, it'll cost you 20% less than it normally would have if you were just wandering down the street and you wandered up on the corner CB Distillery dealer, because you can go right now to cbdistillery.com. That's the central location where everything works from. And you'll get 20% off if you use the code JCE. cbdistillery.com. Use the code JCE for 20% off of the cost of any of the fine products that they have that encapsulate or are formulated or consisting of the CBD for your CBDing pleasure. And Brian, what's that code again?
JCE.
See, now you're paying attention. CB Distillery. Oh, goddamn, with his fucking French fried Marios. cbdistillery.com. The promo code is JCE, is it not? Yes, it is.
That's right.